Hello, scholars! I'm here to help you with your first grade skills lessons. My name is Miss James, and today we're on lesson 32. Let's get started. Today's objectives are to blend and segment single-syllable words, spell tricky words, read with purpose and understanding, and answer written questions about key details of a story. Let's start with our blend and segment. Get those fingers ready by wiggling them out. Remember, when we blend, we touch our finger to our thumb. When we segment, we wiggle our fingers as we say the sound. Let's get started. Lamb. 3 fingers for lamb. Ass. Gas. 3 fingers for gas. Ass. Plate. 4 fingers for plate. Plate. Last one. We only had 4 today. Rush. 3 fingers for rush. Great job. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Off to a great start. Next, we're going to practice writing some more tricky words. Follow along with me as we write the tricky words on this page together. Number 1. Our first tricky word is the. The is spelled T-H-E. The. Our second tricky word is here. H-E-R-E. Here. Our third tricky word is there. T-H. This is the tricky part. E-R-E. There. Our fourth tricky word is was. Starts with W. The middle is tricky. It's an A even though it says and the last sound is an S even though it sounds like a Z. Was. Our last tricky word on this page, number 5, is where. Starts with a W, got a silent H, and the rest is tricky. E-R-E. Where. We've got 5 more tricky words on the next page. So go ahead and make sure you've got these down. Number 6. Our 6th tricky word is why. Even though it sounds like the letter Y, it has 3 letters. W, H, Y. Our number 7 tricky word is what. Starts with W, and then it's got one of those silent H's, and the A says but the ending isn't tricky, it's a T. Number 8, who. W, H, O. I'm going to try that again. It was a little messy. W, H, O. Who? Our number 9 tricky word, said. Starts with and ends with D, but the middle is tricky. It's A-I. Said. And our last tricky word, number 10, is says. Starts with an S and then A-Y and ends with an S that sounds like a Z. Says. Great job practicing. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let's head into our story for today. We've got another story in snapshots to read today. This story is called The Man in the Kilt. Do you know what a kilt is? Have you ever seen one before? A kilt is kind of like a skirt. It looks like one, but it can be worn by both men and women, mostly who are from Scotland. Here, I pulled up a map to show you where Scotland is. In this red dot, that's where you would find Scotland. We live all the way over here. It's not very close to us when you think about how big the world is. This story is called The Man in the Kilt. Read along with me as we read about the man in the kilt. Once Nat and I met a man in a kilt. I said, "Why is that man in a dress?" Nat said, "That is not a dress. It is a kilt." "A quilt?" I said. "No," Nat said, "a kilt." "What is a kilt?" I said. Mom said, "The kilt tells us that the man is a Scot. The cloth on the kilt tells us where the man is from." "So the kilt tells us his past?" I said. "Yes," said Mom. "It is a bit of his past." Mom got this snapshot of us with the man in the kilt. Let's look at some questions about the man in the kilt. Why did Beth think the man they met was wearing a dress? She thought he was wearing a dress because his kilt looked like a dress, and she didn't know anything about kilts. What country do kilts come from? I said the name of this country at the beginning of the story. Do you remember what I said? Scotland. Beth's mom told her a man who wears kilts is a Scot from Scotland. Let's look at our worksheet for today. Let's look at the questions for today. Who was the man that Nat and Beth met? What did we call that man? He was the man in the kilt. Number 2. The kilt tells us that the man is. What did the kilt tell us about him? Was he a Scot, French, or from the U.S.? We learned that he was a Scot. What is a kilt? For this question, I'm going to look back in the story. Mom said, the kilt tells us that the man is a Scot. The cloth on the kilt tells us where the man is from. So what is a kilt? A kilt is a cloth that tells us where a man is from. The different patterns mean different things. Number 4. For number 4, we're going to look at nouns again. Circle the nouns that name things in number 4. Just the nouns that name things for number 4. For number 5, circle the nouns that name a person. Circle the nouns that name a person for number 5. For number 6, circle the nouns that name a place. For number 6, circle the nouns that name a place. And that's all we've got for today. Great work. I'll see you next time.